the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
It's counting and everything.
Counting. You can count on me, and I can count on you.
You can count on me.
You
can count on me. Every time I go to take a pee, the world will ask back, can you count on me? And I'll say yes.
That's a lost Randy Newman song.
It is a lost Randy Newman song. Lost Randy Newman. We're bringing the lost Randy Newman here on the Biofriendly.
Yeah.
I hear that Randy Newman's been writing songs for 500 years.
500 years?
People think that Randy Newman has only been alive these past few decades.
Right.
No.
500 years.
Yeah.
He's one of us?
He's one of us. Yeah.
Oh, Randy.
Randy will be around. Don't you worry about Randy.
Give us a call.
Give us a call.
I wonder if he knows I wonder if he goes to the place that we like to eat down the road, Randall's.
Of course.
I wonder if it's his place.
Oh my God, he probably owns Randall's. Do you want to go to Randall's for lunch? Would that be crazy?
Oh, we should go to Randall's for lunch.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Yeah?
I'm into it.
You're into this.
Yeah, because now we're gonna go and we're gonna see Randy.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Randall's and we're
Yeah.
gonna sing some lost Randy Newman songs.
Some lost Randy Newman tunes.
That would be a really fun album, just like make up songs in the tone and style of Randy Newman about nonsense.
Yeah.
And just call it Lost Randy Newman.
Lost Randy Newman. I love it. I love it.
Oh, that was a setup, and you took that so well. That was great. That was great. Well, good morning.
A lot of people, Jacob. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm so sorry.
Good morning.
I'm sorry.
Channel 2 at 6.
Before I start a phrase in the Trumpiest way possible.
Yes.
Which is a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah. Might be wondering right now, why when Nola's had so many fabulous beards and mustaches over the last few weeks,
why
is he barefaced?
What barefaced?
I look like a bear.
Yeah, but not a hairy bear.
Not a hairy bear, a bald bear.
Yes.
I look like a bald bear presently.
You do.
Because I had a good beard.
You did.
It was a quality beard.
It was a really good beard.
But I have a lot of gray in the beard that's in odd spots, and it makes it look like I have these little bald patches in different places that are just driving me wild.
I'm no stranger to it because I see pictures of me all the time, and it looks like, where am I growing hair?
Who is this?
What's happening?
Why do I look like a teenager again?
I'd rather it just fill all the way gray so I can have a Santa beard.
Yes, exactly.
That's,
now I just look like a very tired teenager, a broken, tired, ruined teenager.
Right.
With the way my beard is.
Yes.
Coming up.
Yeah.
But I was trying to do some beard surgery.
Yeah, yours grooming.
I was grooming.
Right.
And I was working on the sides of the mustache where I had a spot that wasn't great. Mm-hmm. And I got a little close.
Oh.
A little close on one side.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, darn, it's too, well, let me see if I can match on the other side. And then I matched on the other side, get a little too close. And I looked at it, and the combination of where that mustache part was plus where grays were, I swear.
It looked like a very famous mustache nobody ever wants.
I looked like the Fuhrer.
Yes, and you were like not gonna go out into the world like this.
And first, just two things happened to me in that moment, Jacob.
Yeah.
The first thing that happened was I said I'm a little disturbed, by how completely I look like the Fuhrer.
Yeah.
Like way more like
spot on.
Like even my features, I was like, oh God,
no,
oh God,
no. Right.
I was pretty horrified.
Yeah. And everybody was
by me.
Yeah.
And afraid. I was afraid that I'd done something wrong. And so I thought, if I go out into the world like this, even with the beard below, people are going to say, oh, ach mein God, the Fuhrer's back.
Right.
Yeah.
So you had to get rid of it.
So I had to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So the entire beard was buzzed and then shaved
off
into this clean, smooth.
Now you look so young.
Smooth face.
You could have kept just the chin strap, the Abraham Lincoln.
I thought about getting it.
Just the Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, and then getting a steak and being a vampire hunter like he was in history.
That's right.
But no.
You said nope.
Well, we also had Brooke, lovely Brooke.
Yes, that's true.
Who's retiring next week. So
L'chaim. Yeah.
Skull. Mm-hmm. And the rest. Slange.
Yeah.
So she was here. So we all obviously I wanted to look. You know, if I'm gonna not look like the Fuhrer. I probably should look clean.
You have this thing about the mom figures in your life.
I do.
That you really like. If they like your face clean shaven, you're like, I'm going to do right by them. I'm going to do right by them.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
I get it. It's a good boy
The
thing.
mom figures and Jose Nino.
You're a good boy, Noel Carroll. You're a good boy. Yeah, I get it. There's certain people you want to do right by, right?
Yeah.
There's certain requests that you get, and you're like, all right, for them, I'll do it.
And Brooks the best.
I
got to show her the love.
I dressed a little nicer yesterday,
you
knowing
looked
that she
great.
was going to be here.
Yeah,
I was like, I didn't want to come in look like the slob that I usually do when I'm not recording. It's shirtless.
He looks like
Umbros.
a donkey in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah. Oh, perfect description.
Yeah.
Perfect description.
Yeah.
Security downstairs are often saying, they're calling you guys and go, do you have a donkey in a wheelbarrow
Someone-
down here?
someone rolling a donkey in a wheelbarrow?
That's just Jacob.
So, no,
just
that's
let him
just-
up. It's
that's-
okay.
it's
He
okay.
can't reach the buttons on the...
When he shaves, he can't reach the buttons, you see.
He can't. When he's in donkey in a wheelbarrow
When
mode.
Samson cuts his hair, he loses strength.
He loses all
when
strength.
Jacob shaves his beard, he loses his intelligence, his ability to operate.
function at all. Well, as you can see, there's been a lot of nonsense up top. Classic Biofriendly Podcast. And we haven't yet got to acknowledge Ronnie, talk to Veronica here.
Right.
And that's, we're just going to have to just cope, okay?
We are going to cope.
Because she's a busy lady.
Part of Brooke being here this week.
Yeah.
Part of Brooke retiring in only 2 weeks.
Yes.
Is Veronica is taking over that job.
That's right.
So she's got a lot.
Yeah.
She's got a lot on her plate. Lots to do.
Taking it to the streets. Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a lot. So so we got to let her do it. We got to let her work. So she wants to be here. The door is open and she's listening in the other room and chuckling away.
Yeah.
So just trust that. She
There
just said hi.
See?
If
There
you
she
couldn't
was.
hear that.
Yeah.
But
she's about as close to the microphone now as she normally
usually
is.
is. Yeah.
So even though she's all the way over there,
you
it's
probably heard her as clearly as
just
every
as
episode.
clear as you ever heard Veronica.
Yes, but she will have to close the door and take a meeting in a moment, so she won't even get to hear the show.
Well, I got to be honest. That's kind of the case for both of us now. Look, we love doing this show. It's a relief. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
We laugh. We have a great time. But more and more as the plate gets fuller and fuller, we are going, okay, does everybody have a minute to spare? And oftentimes we don't. We don't, but we're driving this forward, and we're going to keep going. We've been on for 200 years. We're going to keep.
We're not going to stop now.
Not going to stop.
We're not going to break the streak.
No.
Next week, you guys will have a good laugh.
I think so.
We're
traveling,
firing in from Orlando,
and then we decided that we're going to record the morning that we get back. We will have just arrived off of a plane, off of a crazy whirlwind, trip, and then we'll come in and record. And we might be the most slap happy we've ever been on the show.
We're going to make Veronica do that one.
Oh yeah.
Because she'll be ultra hilarious.
She cannot sit it out.
Yeah.
Everybody has to be their goofy selves on that morning.
100%.
Okay, good.
100%. We're going to do the first thing.
Yeah.
We're going to pop in, put the coffee on the table. You'll watch us drink our coffee.
And then we go.
And
that's it.
All right, and I don't even know what we're going to talk about. It's going to be insanity.
No, I'll figure it out right before.
On the plane.
On the plane.
While drunk.
I'll just go. This is what we're talking about tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
Goldfish.
But
not the fish.
The snack.
The snack.
The snack, exactly. But let's get into it. Let's get into it because we got stuff to do.
Haven't we vamped long enough?
Haven't we put them through enough?
People want to learn.
They want to learn.
Okay.
But I wrote a little song.
You did?
About today's subject.
I cannot
Ready?
wait. Let's hear it.
Ready? Here we go. When I find myself in times of autumn, leaves are falling from the tree. For the sake of the planet, leave them be.
Oh.
So I sang that.
I'm sorry, my snapping was off.
No, it's okay.
I thought we were doing a different tune. I was like, as you went, I realized what it was. I was like, I just screwed up the entire bit.
No, and also I realized, by the way, my voice is very raspy. And so earlier what I was trying to sing, and I was like, when I find myself, I was like, I can't quite get there. So I was like, you might as well start low, Jacob. But it is, when I find myself in times of autumn, leaves are falling from the tree. For the sake of the planet, leave them be.
Dun, dun, dun. Leave them be. Leave them be.
There you go.
Leave them be. Leave them be. Keep your hands off those damn leaves. Leave them be. Oh, I guess I did a swear word.
Roddy, write
I
down
did a swear word.
948 for me, please. It's okay. It was funny. It was a good joke. Next week you can't.
Next week I can't
You are
because
forbidden.
you only have like 6 seconds to edit the episode.
I do.
So if I go putting in swear words, also we should probably turn off our monitor that we have that shows the pictures.
Yes.
We
Please
have a
turn
live
off
let's
our
turn that
live
off. Yeah.
projecting monitor. News at 6.
Yeah.
And Noel, keep it clean.
Keep it clean, kid.
Last week for the wine episode, there were 0 curse words. Amazing.
Really?
0.
I did 0 curse words?
0 curse words last week. So it can be done.
I've been keeping it clean.
You have been keeping it clean. So, as you heard from my song, we're talking about leaves. Leaves.
The actual leaves that fall from the ground.
Yes,
And we
yes.
should leave them be.
Yes.
Okay.
So today's subject is we come from a time,
Come on.
and by the way, I was about to say, Noel, trigger warning.
Trigger warning.
Leaf blowers of Pasadena. This could really set you off.
Yeah.
warning.
Although,
Yeah.
I will say, if the leaf blowers are not being used because we're keeping them out for
Yeah.
the world to enjoy,
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, good.
You know,
Good.
because it's more if they're being told you do this job, but then they don't have the tools to do the job because
Right.
of rules that do little to help the planet.
Right.
Then that's when
That's what you're bothered by.
That's when I start to lose my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like leaving leaves. I think that's a great. I wish we would do that more. I feel like that is better for the season, better for the planet, and also it's like you walk on them and you crumble them into the ground. I mean, the winter is coming, so you may as well let those nutrients get down into the.
You said it. That is the subject of today. Yeah. I was like, we're heading into, spooky season is around the corner.
Oh my God.
We only have one more week and then we're in spooky season.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Do you know, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, I'm telling this as a secret because it is, on the date of recording, it is only September 20th?
20th. Today's 20th.
September 20th today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm not supposed to look at Halloween stuff before October. It's a personal rule.
Right. It's a rule. It's a rule that you've set for yourself and those around you. I will not look at Halloween stuff.
But yesterday morning, a couple things going on. A couple things, dealing with a couple things.
Few things on your mind.
Couple things. And Jacob didn't want me to throw another iron ball out a window.
Right.
Or crack open.
I don't know where he keeps getting these iron balls. Probably because we've been on since 1823.
Yeah, so
and you
I've got
held on.
over. The cannonballs are left over from earlier war. Yeah.
He should hold on to this bucket of iron balls.
Yeah, I've got them.
Oh, yeah, I've got them.
Well, because, what, I was going to get rid of them? You never know when you're going to need a cannonball.
Lot, and I'm going to keep them.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Or use my claymore to
your claymore.
smash a hole in the wall.
Right.
And so you thought, you know what? Noel's in one of those moods.
Yeah.
Let's get him outside. Let's walk around.
Let's go for a walk.
Let's do stuff. And you said, hey.
What's that?
What's that over there? I said, well, that's the Spirit Halloween store. And you're like, wow, who's it going to kill?
Yeah, come on.
Who's it going to kill if you walk in there? Guys, take a look at it.
Oh, you want to see a little spooky preview,
Have you
don't
heard
you?
anybody?
Yeah.
And so we did.
And it felt so good.
Oh, Halloween. What a season.
It's almost here.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it. And so we've got exciting, spooky content. We'll probably bring back the ghost story ritual that we did last year. So, but I was like, it's fall. It's, we're heading into fall. I think officially the first day of autumn is this week.
Yeah.
And I saw this thing that said raking leaves, drop the rake and stop what you're doing. And they're
Because you're about to
encouraging
ruin the image and the style that you're used to.
I was so going to do that when I said it. I was going to go, stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin.
Yeah.
Good job.
I like though, what it's like doing, saying it properly.
Yeah,
And so the ruin doesn't rhyme anymore. So they have to say ruin.
Stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin. So I know, and you both, the time we grew up in, and probably most people who listen to the show, raking leaves was like a way to earn a couple bucks as a kid. Go out and rake the leaves into a pile.
The biggest pile you can make.
Biggest pile. Dive into it when you're done.
Yes.
But then you also had to bundle them up and get them out of there because they overwhelmed the lawn, right? And so you're like, I got to make the lawn look nice and tidy.
Pristine.
Yes. And I know in places that have a massive amount of trees, I have some family that lives in parts of the Midwest. They have it's so bad in their neighborhoods. I know that they're discouraged from doing this, but oftentimes they do open burns of the leaves right out there because they're just like
There's so many.
There's just so many, and we have to burn all these off.
Right.
That's not the best for the environment. It's like just because the smoke gets in the air, it's an organic material. But if that's something you have to do, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you can't do it. But a lot of city ordinances say that you can't anymore anyway. It's one of those things that they kind of discourage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, most places where they do it, there's not a lot to burn around it. It's already getting cold. It's getting
cold. It's wet, and so it's not going to catch on fire. But a place like California,
don't do it.
Please don't do any open burns. We have Mother Nature does that automatically,
all by itself,
and we don't need that.
And look, you are. Well, I mean, I guess that carbon would get into the soil, but it's better to have it in the soil and released through natural processes than to be burned into the air. It's preferable. It's preferable.
So I'm here to tell you right now. Bye, Ronnie. She's got to close her door because
we're making a call. Making a call. So twice as loud, everybody. On three. Scream. 1, 2, 3. Oh, thank you, audience. That was huge. That helped.
You guys really got us good there. She's on an important call, and she could hear all of your voices in unison screaming.
She could. It was so nice.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yes, but So preferable to not if you can. But hey, you know what? We're not here we don't wag fingers on Biofriendly Podcast. That's not our job.
No, we're just telling you what the information is, and you are an adult, and you can figure out what to do with it and how much motivation you have to change things up if you want. But we grew up in a time where you went out and you raked leaves in your yard because your parents wanted the yard to look tidy. They don't want those messy leaves out there. But to be honest, it's better for the soil for the leaves to stay for the most part. There are some exceptions, excuse me, where the leaves are so dense and so piled so high, and then you end up having snow on top of those. That actually can cause a fungus and a problem with the soil underneath and kill off your grass and whatnot in certain areas. So I understand if you got to get that level off there, but there's a lot of great reasons why you should let your home look as autumn as possible and let those leaves just lay there. Just let them be there.
Yeah.
All right? So I've got some cool info here.
I would even say now's the time to play. Get that last minute play done before the snow hits the ground.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
the more you can kind of grind those leaves up and let them be little bits all onto the grass, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. So it says, instead of raking up all the leaves, use your lawnmower and chop the leaves up. Not only will the leaves provide excellent nitrogen and organic matter, and your winter grass will love it. It'll protect root systems. It'll preserve soil moisture. And the lawnmower will help cut weeds, providing critical light for your grass. So these are some of the tips that they have for that. Now, of course, when leaves sometimes fall and it's really moist outside, you kind of need to wait for them to dry up and get nice and crackly for them to really mulch up and get spread about in the yard. Because if they're wet, that can bind up, of course, in your lawnmower and your stuff that you're trying to do. So you want to wait until it's the right time to do it. But that's something you can do right there.
Yeah, well, and also when they first fall, well, it depends. Sometimes when they fall, they're already getting themselves close to that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when they fall, they've got some color to them, so they look kind of pretty on the grass too. So just let them be pretty.
I love autumn leaves so much. That was the one thing that it's not that we don't get autumn in Southern California. We do. We get a version of it. It's definitely not as dramatic as it is in other parts of the country.
And it tends to happen later.
It does.
For whatever reason. I think maybe just because of how warm it is or whatever. Like our true autumn kind of happens in January a little bit. Like that's when the best leaf color, at least the last couple of years, maybe not every year, but the last couple of years, like our best leaves have been, like end of December, beginning of January.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you can mulch, it says mulching your leaves also helps wildlife. Insects depend on leaf litter in the winter to provide protective habitat for food. Protective habitat and food. I'm sorry. Those insects in turn become winter food for other animals like birds. And I know that Noel and I learned this from watching the documentary Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That's right. That was a great documentary.
Great documentary because you saw over and over again how when the children were tiny and small in the yard, that if it hadn't been for some leaf cover, they would have been hosed.
Yeah, they were done.
Yeah. And so if you're taking away every ounce of shelter from all those little guys down there, how are they gonna get back to mom and dad that alive.
They'll never make it.
Right.
And as we know, this is something that happens quite a lot.
A lot.
That scientists who are, experimenting
Shrink
will
rays.
accidentally shrink their family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell my kids every morning.
Yes.
I say, be careful.
Be careful.
Today could be the day.
Caution
that you are shrunk down to ant size.
Yeah.
And you have to make your way through this yard back to the house. So think about what you're throwing out there, kids.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
That could save your life.
That could save your life. I'm so glad that we said this. I'm so glad you always do these public service announcements.
Yeah, thank you.
This is the kind of top quality content that you can expect from Biofriendly.
Absolutely.
If you want to be safe and live through the true tragedies, listen to Jacob.
Look, a lot of environmental podcasts are out there just talking about the stuff that is, general public knowledge, but they're not talking about shrink rays.
They are not.
No,
I would say without this podcast, people would have no idea that if you have got a mogwai,
Yes.
you should not ever feed him after midnight.
never.
Also, just don't
get him,
water him. If you
don't
get him
get
wet,
him wet.
he's going to reproduce.
Don't get him. Yeah.
And then the third
So the first one was don't get them wet. Keep them out of sunlight.
Keep them out of sunlight.
And
They
the
don't
last
like
one is
sunlight.
never
Right.
feed them after midnight.
Never feed them after midnight. Because if you feed them after midnight, you get gremlins.
Gremlins.
So
Everyone knows that.
it was another piece of important. That was a great documentary too.
Such a good documentary.
Yeah, it's particularly the second documentary.
Yes.
What a doc! I had no idea. Electricity,
Spiders,
babes.
Oh, they could all be gremlins. I was so crazy about gremlins that our cat was named Gizmo
Really?
by my choice.
That's a great name.
Yeah, and it was a calico, so it had like that. It had the coloring kind of the mogwai.
That's terrific.
Anyway, I was crazy about.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
Gizmo's a wonderful name for a cat.
Gizmo.
That's so cute.
So-
Gizmo, and then was it Stripe or Spike?
yeah,
Stripe in the first one, Spike in the second one.
I
It was
think
like
you're
the leader
right.
of the
I think it's Stripe in the first one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Man, scary gremlin.
Those are nice.
You gotta watch out.
Terrifying. So, anyways, those are the rules if you get a mogwai. Be careful. So I guess that was a little off topic, but just we were giving lessons.
You have to remind them of these important things. Yeah. But back to the less important stuff.
Great.
Not only does mulching your leaves help your grass and soil, it also helps reduce greenhouse gases and limits waste. So here's some interesting data for you.
Wow.
According to the Environmental Protection Agency, 8.7 million tons of yard trimmings, which include leaves, went to landfills in 2019, accounting for just over 6% of all waste in landfills.
You're kidding me.
6% in
Wow,
landfills.
that's tragic.
Yeah, I know, because it
That's
says
tragic because it's grass food. I mean, at least when you're composting it, right? You can get the value from it that way.
Exactly. So it says these bags of leaves not only take up space, they can also break down with other organic waste to create methane, a potent greenhouse gas, which exacerbates climate change.
Way more potent than CO2.
Absolutely. So putting them in that environment, it's important if you're interested in composting and you don't know how to do it. There's a lot of resources out there. We have resources on Biofriendly Planet. You can look at tons of articles about composting. I think one went today about what's better, biodegradable composting
or recycling, right?
Recycling, yeah. So breaking that down.
Did Tara write that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, you got to read that one.
You got to read
Tara's
this one.
She doesn't get to write as much because she's the editor. She's often hiring the writers and telling them what to do and correcting their stuff and doing some edits on their work. But Tara's a dynamite writer. Dynamite. And she doesn't often get a chance to do a post. So that's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
if
read
she
that one.
is not the writer, I wholeheartedly apologize to whoever it is. In my head, I'm thinking it is Tara because she told us about us.
Right.
Told us about the article.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that it is it, but I hate to go in
if
there.
If it's not, you should still read it.
You should still read it.
That's going to be interesting. It's fantastic.
And you know what? Fact check me on it.
There you go. Fact checked and cancel. That's how we like to do it here.
Fact check me and take me out immediately. Be like, Jacob's a misogynist and he assigns the wrong writers to wrong articles. Please.
Can you imagine how if the whole rock and roll community was fighting the whole environmental community, like two of your communities are fighting each other? Because the environmental community is like, well, we got to cancel them. The rock and roll's like, no, we can't cancel them.
I'm like, it's the Montagues and the Capulets, but it's these two communities.
Because you've got two communities where you rule.
They're like, oh, he's great in environmentalism, but he's into rock and roll. No, and then it's the other way around. That's so funny. That's hilarious.
This is what I predict for Jay. This is where
this is my future.
This is where your many dominant qualities will will come against you.
Collide.
Yeah.
Well, the rock and roll community needs to get behind environmentalism if they're not. Okay?
Well, you know what? I'll bet they're more environmentally conscious now than they were before you.
It's true.
Became.
They're starting to come around.
Yeah.
They're starting to like the ring out tone of the guitar, and the drummer like stops and silences his cymbal, and they're like, maybe we should take climate change more seriously. No. So honestly, I just printed up a couple articles that were about the benefits of the fallen leaves.
Awesome.
And what they can do in the garden, which I think were great. And what's so funny is a lot of these articles were like, a lot of these myths have been around forever. Like leaves kill your grass, and it's just a myth. It's just this idea. It was just your grandparents telling your parents that the leaves will kill their perfectly manicured American lawn. Yeah. And they passed it down to you, and you were a kid, and like, get out there and rake up those leaves. It'll kill my grass. And it's like, no, it won't kill your grass. It's a lie.
Well, if you managed it differently, it couldn't, right? The only way that it's going to kill your grass is if you have so many leaves that no sunlight touches your grass for weeks.
For weeks on end. And then it possibly could.
And then maybe it'll brown your grass up. Yeah. Although at that time of year, most grasses start to hibernate anyway. Yeah. So then it wouldn't. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think it's got to be almost fully a myth. Almost.
Yeah, it's almost fully a myth. And I kept thinking to myself, in my head, I was thinking, since trees and leaves pre-exist us by quite a lot. I was like, what did they do? What did they do before humans would clear them out? And then it dawned on me.
What did they do before lawnmowers?
Yeah, I was like, I started realizing, I was like, it's because of the way that we've made things that it's kind of against their natural, like having a lawn in areas where there not necessarily is a lawn, and sometimes, and then also placing trees very densely together in neighborhoods and whatnot. Normally, probably in forests, it's not like that, and things have more of an ability to blow away or clear away or get burned up in a fire or whatnot, right? Is that correct?
100%.
Yeah, so we've kind of made it the environment to where if you want to have that, you kind of got to work with it a little bit.
I'll tell you a story if you want.
I was hoping you had a story.
I do have a story.
Bring me the story.
Okay, one of the times that I was in D.C., I got a day off.
Okay.
And I said, I've got to get to Mount Vernon. I got to see Washington's home. Yeah. Because I just read about him. I was kind of like really
and you love that stuff.
I'm a history
You're
buff.
a history buff.
I love that stuff. I do.
100%, yeah.
And so I had to see his house. So I was like, I'm going to go out there. And I was reading about his bowling green.
Yeah.
Okay. So back in those days, to have a lawn that wasn't for any like farming purpose, but it was just like to have a lawn.
Yeah.
A green for bowling? Is the pinnacle of insanity. Yeah. Yeah. Like why would you waste your precious land that you could be making money with on something as worthless as a bowling green? Like that is a show of wealth. It's a flex. Yeah. Big time flex. Yeah. And one of the reasons it's such a big time flex is because right now we think about we think about making your front yard, like everyone has the equivalent of bowling green in their front yard now. Right. Because we all have lawnmowers. Right. Right. Right? Where you can just run blades over your grass and keep it manicured to a nice, perfect, beautiful size. Yeah. Back when Washington had a bowling green, it was literally enslaved people with scythes.
Oh my gosh.
Chopping it down because they didn't have another way to do it. Like to keep that thing mowed and like in shape was an enormous
task.
Pain in the bottom. Yeah. I said bottom because I'm trying to swear
Thank
that.
you.
An enormous nightmare.
That sounds awful.
It was terrible. Yeah. Right? And so it was this complete flex and display of I have power. And he wasn't the only one. Like this was something that if you had power, and actually Washington wasn't even that rich. Like he actually was a working farmer who could barely keep it all together. And like that's the interesting thing about him is he was like scrambling to make it all work. But he had this really big home that he inherited, and it looked like he was very wealthy when he really wasn't. Right. Anyways, but he had this bowling green, so it was kind of part of you had to keep up with the Joneses. Yeah. But it was difficult. Like nature does not really work that way. Yeah. Yeah. In nature, the way it would have been before is you've got giant, huge like fields of wheat or whatever, right? Like whatever the grass is or rye or whatever. You've got these huge, massive fields. And then when something runs through it or walks through it, then that part gets tamped down and that turns into this like flat looking, not very sexy lawn.
Right. Exactly.
Anyways, So that's my...
Well, that's to your point. That's your story. Yeah, that's your story about how we've cultivated the environment in a very unnatural way.
Yes, because now we have the technology to do it so easily.
Right.
Like people think about a lawn as easy. It's I do it that way because it looks nice and it's easy. They don't think about it as a show of wealth, a flex of power, which is what it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in some cases, like an awful show of wealth, right?
Yeah.
Like you literally get people doing it for free who shouldn't be.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, it's mostly a myth. Mostly, there are some things that happened before, but it's like I said, excessive amounts of fallen leaves can smother areas of a lawn when they're left in thick piles all winter, leaving the leaves on the ground. That is the one time where it can cause a problem. But maximizing the benefits, as one plant and soil specialist, Dr. Thomas Nikolai of Michigan State University put it, leaving the leaves in the lawn is not only not a problem, it's awesome. According to an interview at Christian Science Monitor, Dr. Nikolai says that by mowing over the fallen leaves to turn them into smaller pieces, the leaves will actually enhance the lawn's fertility, not kill it off. And while it's usually recommended to use a mulching mower or a mulching attachment to convert the larger leaves into smaller sized particles, virtually any mower can do the job. It's merely a matter of mowing over the leaf-filled yard a few times during the season. So if you were like, oh no, I don't have the right kind of equipment, if you got a mower, it'll do the trick.
And if you're worried that your lawn is going to die, this will fix it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it'll turn those big leaves into tiny bits that will then seep down into the grass.
Seep down the soil. Absolutely. And so I did highlight a section because there are people like my mom who likes tidy things. And so it says, however, if you're cultivating a tidier look to your lawn and don't want those pesky dried leaves getting in the way, because I'm trying to speak to the every person, right? Like there's people that go, I know it's not great, but I like a tidy lawn.
Yeah.
So here, this is for you. They can be raked into garden beds, flower beds, or as mulch around trees, either as is or by using a bagger on your mower to collect them. Covering garden beds with a thick mulch in the fall can be an effective and simple way to build soil fertility, as well as helping to keep the yard look tidier. It's an easy way to do it, right?
This is such a great little at-your-home
thing you could do, right?
Yeah, well, it's an example of what we deal with in farming with soil in general, right? Like one of the things we talk about a lot is soil degradation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it really does come down to the fact that if the soil keeps giving you something that you then take out and you feed to people, and that you don't put that back into the soil, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's like carbon dioxide, right?
Yeah.
Going into the air. It's most of everything you see is made of carbon, mostly.
Yeah.
Right? That's just, it's kind of the building block of Earth.
Yeah.
So that carbon needs to, it doesn't just disappear.
Right.
It goes somewhere, right? So if you light it on fire, it turns into the gas form.
Yeah.
And then that's CO2, and then off it goes, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with everything. So like in the ground, all of that nitrogen, all of everything that you need to make the food, the sulfur, the rest of it, it's like it goes into what you've grown.
Yeah.
And if you take it away, it doesn't go back.
Yeah.
It's come out of the ground.
Yeah.
It's gone, right?
Yeah.
So you have to put it back. You have to put something back there. You have to, right? It's like this is the trick. And in the old days, what you would do is you would have animals graze.
Yeah.
And then by walking around and pooping and stepping on that and like slobbering everywhere and eating the grass and doing what they do, that would replace what was missing in the soil.
Yeah.
And then you had a nice little cycle that would go around. And then we kind of stopped
doing that.
And then you'd rotate the crops so you weren't taking the same nutrients all the time. Like different crops require different nutrients.
Yeah.
And that gives time for stuff to then come back.
Yeah.
So anyways, this is what's happening in a microcosm.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
And these are the small little things that I feel like in our audience, people want to do things, but they don't know how to change the things that they're doing on the daily that will make a difference. But they do, and it's a very simple thing to do. And that's what I like about this, is these are those entry points that you go, it's not that hard to go, you know what, this fall, kind of just embrace the leaves and let them lay in my yard and spread them out and, put them in the flower beds, whatever you got to do. But it's going to help the situation. And if you let go of kind of these old-fashioned ideas that my lawn has to look perfect, or let go of the idea, the majority of the myth of it, it's going to kill my lawn, it's going to kill my lawn. Not if you do it the right way. It won't kill your lawn.
Very unlikely to kill your lawn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if, as the last resort, I'm going to say, if none of these uses for fallen leaves work for your situation, you can look into local options for leaf drop-offs where this yard waste is collected at a central location and then turned into compost and mulch, although this option still does require raking and bagging. It can keep this potential natural resource out of the waste stream. I know I have a green bin, and a lot of people have green bins now. That is like it sounds like I'm saying ben, but that I think is just my accent coming through. Bin, green bin.
You also do have a green bin, though.
Yeah, I do have a green bin. Yeah. Green Ben is my neighbor, and he's always sick.
Yeah, poor guy.
He's always sick, and so he comes out, and his nice guy Ben, but he's nauseous, and so he just looks green. I'm like, "What's up, Green Ben?" And he's always like,
"Oh, poor Green Ben." He's a great guy.
Great guy.
Great guy. Really.
A lot of fun.
On those few moments when he's not throwing up, very cordial.
Yeah, very cordial.
Very
kind.
And can be talkative.
And he can't seem to figure out why he's sick all the time because it's not contagious.
No.
I invite him to parties, but I usually make him stay outside.
Yeah. Well, he makes a mess.
Yeah. But you know what? It adds to the soil.
It does. He really does. That's the big thing about Green Ben.
Green Ben.
Green Ben is like a walking compost.
Yeah. So I have a green bin, and I'm sure you do too. So whenever we pick up all the twigs and stuff in our lawn or the leaves, we always put them in the green bin. And I know that that's gathered. I don't know. Does every city in the U.S. have I know they don't all have a green bin.
Yeah.
I have a green bin, but do they? Is it?
No, not all of them, but more and more of them.
More and more cities are including the green bin.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good idea.
It is.
It's a popular idea, and the cities can make money off of it.
Yeah,
because people actually want that to make their lawns better. It's like it's a funny thing. You can do it yourself, or pay for it later at the Home Depot.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Well, so this is one of those subjects that, sometimes they bring in the stuff that's like, wow, it's really complex. We got to get through it. This was a basic thing. I was like, fall's coming, leaves are falling. Maybe people had an old-fashioned idea of what they had to do with leaves. Well, they could change it up.
It is the most perfect topic for a podcast because it's simple, it's approachable, it's something that everybody can relate to and that a lot of people could do right now. Yeah. Think about it this way too. Yeah. Raking or blowing the leaves into piles and getting rid of them is a pain.
It is. It actually
is a pain. I mean, unless your plan is to have that so the kids can jump in the leaves and have fun, which you absolutely should
because it's a lot of fun, and I did it a lot as a kid.
Yes, you should do that. Yeah. But when you're done, let him be. Let him out again.
Leave him be.
Leave him be.
It's like I said.
Leave him be. 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 Bum, bum. I'm trying not to say bad words.
Yeah. Because last time you sang that verse, it was a totally different Beatles variation. Yeah. But that's it. Now here comes the
more Bangles than Beatles.
What is going to be the most interesting part of this podcast is we're about to head into tags, and we do not have a Ronnie. We do not have a Ronnie to help us through, so we're going to have to just hope for the best. Are you ready?
No, but. Do we say to them anything?
Of course.
Oh, sorry. You were going to do. You're just warning me.
I was just warning you to start getting your brain where it needs to go. Okay. Thank you for checking out the Biofriendly Podcast. We've got some exciting stuff on the horizon. We're really happy to bring to you, and I think you're going to all be very pleasantly surprised. But there's some cool things coming up very soon, and we're glad you've been with us for all these years.
Yes.
200 years.
Biofriendly Planet and the Biofriendly Podcast.
Crushing it.
And the Biofriendly Network.
Everything. The whole kit and caboodle.
About to explode.
All over the place.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait till you find out. I can't wait till you find out.
I know.
It's the biggest news.
And you'll be able to say, I was there.
I was there when?
Since 1823. I've been there the whole time.
This is a great thing is we're the only podcast with an audience average age of 217.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We really are. We own that demographic.
We own that demographic.
Yeah.
Nobody else has that demographic like we do.
So all
Because
you
you built them. We built that audience on rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Yeah. And so we put, it's been tough with the rock and roll versus the environmentalism.
I know. It is a tough needle to thread. It's a tough.
It really is.
I don't know.
It's a tough needle to
thread.
thread. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but we have threaded that needle.
Yeah, we have threaded it.
And I think we've put together rock and roll and environmentalism into a
like this.
Yeah.
So
finger crossed marriage.
We can't keep going without you sharing the podcast, telling people about it, subscribing, telling all your friends, sending them clips, sending them the little videos, and saying, "Check out this show. It's a lot of fun." So we need you. We need you. You have to do it. You have to. You're bound by law.
By law, you're contractually obligated.
Yeah. When you started listening, you agreed to this.
You agreed. You promised.
You promised. So with that, we are your beacon of light in a gloomy environment.
Bringing you top quality content since 1823.
Science without the shaming.
Green without the groaning.
Inspiring fear and love.
This show is about patience.
Careful, you catch feelings.
Corn Dog Rogers and Kerosene Guy have had a lifelong battle in my head. Oh, no!
Slam dunk. Flawless. Didn't miss a word.
And Ronnie missed it.
Missed it, but it happened, and we have it recorded right here that you did it flawless. You didn't miss a word. That was the sentence. Now I don't know what I'm supposed to say next.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I said Kerosene Guy and Corn Dog Rogers, right? So there's that one. And then after that...
This show... it's not, because I know what your next one is, but this show turns your enemies into friends.
Yes, that's
there
what it was.
That's it.
And then mine is We're Down with the Hooey.
That's it. And then we have
that crazy new one.
That there's just no way I'm going to get there without her.
I can't think we can't do it without
her. I need a prompt for this one. So the listeners are
going.
Should
I walk over and interrupt her conversation to get it? So
yes. Okay. But if she's on the phone, that's okay. But I'm going to vamp right now. But what he's going to do, if she's on a call and she can't actually talk right now, then it's okay. But we're just trying to figure out what this last tag is because we like to deliver the goods to you. And if she's on the phone and she can't give the tag, then you're going to have to just...
She's totally busy.
She's totally busy.
She gave me a look of panic.
She goes...
what are you doing in here? Get out of my office, you animal. So we're not going to be able to do the last tag. So, I wanted to. I tried.
So let me tell you something. Ladies and gentlemen, next week when we are all very, very...
very tired
from a trip home, we are going to hilariously deliver that final tag.
We will.
Yeah. And we can promise you.
We'll nail it.
You can hear her busy over there.
Yeah, she's very busy. She's working hard.
Yeah.
Got important things happening. Sorry, gang.
Thanks for sticking with us. We will see you next time. This is normally where we toss it over to her to say something.
Should we say something like...
So this isn't a summer nugget. This is a fall... An autumn...
Well, actually, it's still until the 22nd.
You're right. It's still a summer nugget. So we'll say happy nuggets.
Happy nuggets.
And stop and smell the flowers. Yeah. See you guys.
Bye.
It's the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.